if I'm in need of a restroom and I can't find one, I could go by the side of the road.
Before Sia would wow the world with her song Chandelier, Diamonds, and Alive. Before Sia would light up the 57th Grammys with a remarkable performance and would receive 4 Grammy nominations. Before Sia would have everyone but herself star in her videos and performances, including Shia LaBeouf, a young child dancer, Kristen Wiig, and even Jim Carrey. Okay, that one was a parody. Before Sia went to great lengths to keep her identity concealed from the public. Before Sia would inspire Shia LaBeouf to cover up his own face with a paper bag of his own. Now this Australian singing songwriting sensation, she is the daughter of 2 artists, 2 musicians herself, so well, musical talent, it's running through her blood. The girl found fame early on and even appeared in a popular Australian soap opera known as Home and Away. She later moved to England where she joined up with the band 07 and would collaborate with them for years as well as working solo. As her own career began to take off, while the pressures of fame, they became too much for her. She began drinking a whole lot, she was also taking a whole bunch of drugs, she was battling depression, and then she had a boyfriend who tragically died, and then things got a whole lot worse. In 2010, she had penned her own suicide letter, but thankfully she decided to not go through with it, and then she decided it was fame that was causing her all these problems. She was going to withdraw from that, and she was going to work on writing for other artists. She penned hits for the likes of Rhianna, Beyonce, and Britney Spears, and then launched to fame with her own material, Chandelier. That was the first one out the gate, and there would be so many others. My name is Michael McCrudden, documenting the life of Sia prior to fame, here for you on Before They're Famous. Be sure to let me know in the comments down below who you want to hear about next. This one was requested by the viewers, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Now I just had a little bit of a light bulb go off on top of my head that this is probably the type of video she doesn't want out there. But hey, Sia, I got a job to do as well. And the people asked for it. You gotta give them what they want. Alright, here we go. Sia was born Sia Kate Isabel Furler on December 18, 1975 in Adelaide, Australia. Born to parents Phil Coulson and Lauren Furler. Her parents were members of the rockabilly band known as the Soda Jerks. Now creativity, performance, and the arts, well, it's certainly in her blood, it was also around her throughout her entire upbringing. Her father was friends with the members of the band In Excess and also Men at Work's Colin Hay. Growing up, Sia would refer to this man as Uncle Colin. In her early teens, she began working with a band known as The Crisp. She also made headway in the Adelaide local jazz scene throughout the early 90s. A big break came when she booked a role as the wedding singer on the popular Aussie soap opera Home and Away.
And now for your present. That's Sia.
Now that show might look a little bit cheesy, but it's pumped out some massive stars, including Heath Ledger, Sam Worthington, Chris Hemsworth, Isla Fisher, and many others. She eventually decided that if she was going to make it in music, she'd have to move to either America or to England. Her boyfriend, the love of her life, he was living in London, so that's where she decided to go. But tragically, a week before her departure, he was killed by a taxi. It ran him over. And well, that's a loss she's still mourning. Sia eventually did move to London and got her first big break as a backup singer for Jamiroquai. That led to Sia joining acclaimed electronica act 07. Now if that weren't enough, the woman was also making headway as a solo artist, and she got signed to the record label Dance Pool, which is a division of Sony. She then dropped her album Healing is Difficult with the hit single Drink to Get Drunk, as well as Little Man, which was remixed by UK artist Wookie and went on to become a dance club hit. Now she recalls this turning point in her career as the time where she had to adjust to the pressures of fame. She recalls a story where she was sitting with a friend who revealed to her that they had been diagnosed with cancer, and as soon as those words left her mouth, well then a fan came up asking for a photo. Celebrity status had changed her. She wouldn't leave the house out of fear of being recognized. She began drinking heavily, and the habit, well, it was necessary for her to have the courage to perform on stage. On top of this, she was also experimenting with drug use and all sorts of different drugs. She says she never did meth, she never did heroin, but everything else was good to go. Or yeah. She had a falling out with her label, so she switched to Go Beat Records and released her EP Don't Bring Me Down in 2003. Then her next record, the LP Color the Small One, was recorded after Sia had moved to the US. When she got there, she started collaborating with the likes of Beck. On that album, there was also a track known as Breathe Me, and that one got picked up for the final episode of the HBO show 6 Feet Under. Now this was a very big break for Sia at the time because her life was kind of falling apart. 07, they had been tired of waiting around for her, so they decided to move on without her. Also, her drinking and her drug use, it was out of hand. Also, she was battling depression. In 2010, she seriously contemplated taking her own life while battling addictions to alcohol, drug use, struggling with depression, and on top of this, she discovered she had been diagnosed with Graves' disease. She had left a suicide note for her dog walker stating that she had killed herself. Someone needed to take care of the dogs. She then called up her drug dealer asking for 2 of absolutely everything, with the exception of heroin and meth. And well, thankfully, someone called her up and she had a change of heart. Thank goodness. I sound like I haven't taken drugs. But at this time, she'd come to the conclusion that it was the pressures of fame that were driving her a little cuckoo. Moving forward, she was going to keep her identity to herself. At first, she began writing for other artists including Madonna, Beyonce, Flo Rida, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and Rhianna. And she wrote Rihanna's Diamonds, which skyrocketed to #1.
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.
Then she got back to working on her own material and dropped the album 1000 Forms of Fear. On there was the track Chandelier as well as Elastic Heart. And all of a sudden, Sia in her big blonde wig, it was everywhere. She got her Grammy nominations, and she also made up her mind that her identity, well, she was going to keep it to herself by all means possible.
There's a
Yep,
step,
yep,
no,
yep.
no, step,
Okay,
step,
got it.
and walk around here.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
And the rest of the story, well, you know the story because this is before they were famous.
Wanted to fight this war without weapons.
My name is Michael McCracken. Thanks for checking out my personal channel where I do all sorts of celebrity bios on here. I've done a few singers in the past. Beyonce, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, they all come to mind. But I've probably done about 20 or 30. So be sure to browse around. I've also done sports athletes, I've done comedians, I've done actors, I've done porn stars, I've done YouTubers, done rappers, I've done a whole lot of people. So check it out, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
It was gross because we were dirty and I had to bite his dirty hands. I was so dirty I kept wiping myself off and I kept handing him to Shia. He's like, I don't need them. Yes, you do.